being only 5 kilometers south of Kinross and being road accessible, that's a huge strategic advantage.
Hello and welcome to Assay TV. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Steve Roebuck, who is the president of Avidian Gold and the president of High Tide Resources. Avidian Gold have 3 gold exploration projects in Alaska and a copper gold project in Nevada, and High Tide Resources has an iron ore project in Labrador. Steve, great to see you this evening. Let's start things at the top. Your Amanita gold project in Alaska, up in the Fairbanks mining region of Alaska. You've been doing some drilling there recently. What have you found?
Well, happy to report we found gold. So the Amanita project sits just south of the Fort Knox mine, which is, it's the big gold mine in Alaska. They've produced between 250 and 400,000 ounces per annum, and we're abutted on the south border. So we're 5 kilometers south of the actual pit itself. And there's a large geological structure that runs out of that pit right through our area. So this project belonged to Kinross back in 1999, but when the price of gold cratered, they let it go. And the project sat basically idle for the next 15 years. And we picked it up in 2017, and we knew that it had potential then. We looked at the historic drill results that Kinross and their predecessor, Amax Gold, had drilled, all short RC holes on the project. And we said, wow, this thing's got potential. We could follow up on that. So in 2019, we did some trenching, and we got extremely good results from the trenching. And that encouraged us to drill in 2020. Despite all the challenges of COVID, we pulled off a successful 9-hole, 1,945 meter program. That was between August and October. And just before Christmas, in mid-December, we released the results of 2 holes. And I'm happy to report that one of them came with, I think, 27 meters of about 3.1 grams. And that was about 60, 70 meters below a surface trench from that 2019 trenching program that was 4.2 meters of 27. So we clearly have something that we see at surface, something that we see just below. So we're really encouraged by that. But we don't have any more results from the remaining 7 drill holes. And Leo, I'm sure your listeners and yourself have probably heard this before, is that the labs are right now backed up. And unprecedented times in terms of volume, and I guess the COVID thing is still working its way through. But so unfortunately, we only have results from the 2 holes at this point in time, but certainly we're encouraged by the results so far, but we're still waiting for some more results.
When do you expect those next set of results to come out?
I've given up guessing on a timeline, to tell you the truth, because I thought it would all be done before Christmas. And then I was hoping that January. But I'm hopeful that perhaps in the next 2 to 4 weeks we can see some more results. Yeah, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And so into 2021, you're obviously going to be looking to follow up on that drilling success, yeah?
Well, 100%. We're in the process right now of initiating our permitting for follow-up drilling on the Amanita project itself. So what you do typically is that you submit your application along with the map. We have ideas of where we want to drill property-wide, and areas that we want to drill around the the recent successes. So right now there's a little bit of testing targets. That might only be about 25% of it, but 75% will be following up on working around the known, where we have known intercepts. So it'll be a step out program, a little bit of infill, that type of thing. But absolutely, when you're starting to see these type of results so close to the surface, at surface, you take a look at the potential to build ounces and tons very fast. And this is extremely important, Leo, is that being only 5 kilometers south of Kinross. And being road accessible, that's a huge strategic advantage. It's no secret that Kinross right now is fishing for more ounces to feed their mine and mill complex. If you look at their reserves and resources, it looks good at 5 million tons, 5 million ounces. However, you dig a little deeper and you see that the grades are 0.3, 0.4 grams per ton. So by having potential, higher grade ounces that are road accessible 5 kilometers to the south, that could be a game changer for Avidian Gold and an easy win for somebody like Kinross. So that's you look at that and you look at what they have done recently. In October of 2020, they announced the purchase of 70% of the Peak Gold project. And what they're planning on doing, it's a nice deposit, roughly 1 million ounces, 6 grams per ton. But incredibly, they are trucking it 400 kilometers up to Fairbanks and into the mill complex. So it just tells you to what length they are going right now to fill that mill with higher grade material. So we're extremely pleased with something so good sitting so close. So that's encouraging.
So if you can find some ounces just a few kilometers down the road from their mill, that would be excellent. You've also got the Amanita Northeast project up there. What's happening there?
That's an interesting project. Again, this is one we picked up last year, so we're still in the process of getting familiar with it. We bought it in July of last year, and we're doing a data compilation right now that really involves local geologists, people who are familiar with the project and the geology of the area. So it's had limited drilling, most of it for placer gold, and it's an interesting project because it is the last unmined, placer deposit with, in close proximity to Fort Knox itself. It sits adjacent and due west to their Gill and Sourdough deposit, which again, just recently, Kinross announced that they are going to start mining within the next couple of years. So it's early stage for us. There's more work to be done. We're doing the data compilation where we flew geophysics and we flew a drone mag survey, which we flew over all our projects last year. So we invested in getting up-to-date technological information like geophysics, like the LiDAR surveys. So we're still compiling that and looking for targets that may represent an extension of the Gill deposit onto our ground. So it's going to be worked this year at some time, but I'm not exactly sure if we're going to see a drill. We're not going to see a drill at least until later in the year, as our priority will be Amanita and absolutely the Golden Zone. So the Golden Zone is our big project, and maybe that's what you want to touch on next.
Absolutely. I was going to move on to the Golden Zone, also in Alaska. You have an NI 43-101 resource there already, inferred and indicated.
Correct.
About 300,000 ounces, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. 267,000 at 2 grams in the indicated category, and the inferred is about 36,000 ounces at about 0.83. It all sits within an area called the Breccia Pipe deposit. It was actually mined historically. If you go back to the old timers and the pack trains and all the old boys went in there and they were actually mining it via underground. So there's certainly higher grade tenors in certain areas of that. We're looking at it more as potentially as a bulk deposit. It's a little bit constrained by its own geometry, being a breccia pipe. It's similar to something like a kimberlite pipe. Maybe people are familiar with the geometry. It looks more like a carrot. But there is potential because the structure that the mineralization came up from has been ill-defined. So we think, despite the fact, it's at roughly 300,000 ounces now, we could do a double or a triple on that just in itself. However, it's the scale of this project. There's so many things. If you're looking for the check boxes, that you're in the Tentina Gold Belt. all of the major gold deposits, intrusion-related gold deposits, are sitting in that, like Fort Knox, like Donlin, like Casino in the Yukon, like Dublin Gulch. These are all, your monster deposits. It shares the same geological domain, the Tentina Gold Belt, the same Paleo age, 68 million years, late Cretaceous age rocks. So these are all things that you're looking for. We've got 19 kilometers of mineralized trend on the project itself. It's been, largely unexplored. A number of our more recent finds have been just us going out and prospecting, but using a helicopter to kind of go a little bit further afield. I think a lot of previous explorers on the Breccia Pipe and at Golden Zone have just been focused in on the low-hanging fruit and the easy rolling terrain that you can actually walk, or you can actually take an ATV around. Whereas you go a little bit further afield, you're starting to get into, geology and mountains, and reminds me of more of the Golden Triangle. Slightly more difficult access, but very accessible still. But I think that's where some big rewards are sitting and yet to be found. But it's exciting. And the other thing, Leo, that really has us excited about Golden Zone is its access. There are a lot of excellent projects in Alaska, but none located, 6 to 8 kilometers due west of a major highway, of a power grid, and of a rail line. This is the trifecta. You're not going to find anything better than that when it comes to a project of this size and potential, sitting beside all the infrastructure.
And what are your plans for that in 2021? You have the Mayflower extension zone and the Copper King area that you're looking at. Do you have plans to get drill rigs in there this year?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're starting off just like we're going to start off at Amanita. Is you got to put the paperwork in. You've got to get the permits rolling. This was a funny year that both of our permits came up for renewal at this point in time. So we are in that process. We will be, initiating that process shortly. We are making plans for two-pronged exploration. One will be resource expansion around the Breccia Pipe in the Mayflower extension zone. There are substantial drill holes there, 18 meters of 2 grams. There's only one drill hole, around it. That's a great target. And further to the southwest, there's drill targets as well. So we'll be working, one of the drill rigs will be working on that, and then there's a second, area we could start to do some scout drilling on some of the early stage prospects that we've discovered in the last couple of years. And one that's really worth mentioning here is the Copper King, which is about 5 kilometers due south of the Breccia Pipe. This is, a wonderful prospect. You're seeing a lot of mineralization in a conglomerate. You're getting gold, copper mineralization, substantial intercepts over substantial widths. It's only got 3 or 4 drill holes in it. It's woefully under drilled. There's lots of work to be done there, and it's large. It's got a strike length of over 2 kilometers, and it's still open on either end. So this is, we think, the Breccia Pipe is going to be the foundation for the entire the company, and it underpins the value of our market capitalization. Just this one deposit, and everything else after that is gravy. And we think that these, the Copper King, the JJ, the MJ, the J4, these are recent discoveries. Silver Kitty, Ready Cash. This is where we're going to build multi-million ounce deposits. And we haven't even looked. I forgot to mention. Not only is that they're gold there, we've got 1.5 million ounces of silver. That contributes, and certainly, you've caught us on a day where silver's caught a crazy bid. It's up a couple of bucks today. I guess the kids are starting to do something on the silver side. But anyways, there's silver potential there as well. So yeah, this is, we think, if there's one project this company would hang on to dear life for, it is Golden Zone, because this is how you're going to really take this company to the next level, over the top, I'd say, actually.
But you've also got the Jungo deposit in Nevada. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. It's in the northwest quadrant, so to speak. It's in the Humboldt Trend. It's sitting between the Hycroft and the Sleeper deposits. It's been previously worked years and years ago. Again, similar to what we saw at Amanita, you know, some short RC holes. And there's only 15 holes that have been drilled, but they've got exciting results too. 12 meters or 1.3 grams, 28 grams silver, 0.7 copper, 2.7% copper, etc. So there's lots of interesting mineralization, all near surface. There's been some mapping done. There's been some surface sampling, maybe some trenching, and just these 15 short RC holes. I think there's a lot of potential, and a lot of these RC holes, if you were to look at a cross section, they came up short from testing some substantial geophysical anomalies. And this one drill hole that got close to this geophysical anomaly, the last 50 meters, all of a sudden the gold went up to 90 ppb, arsenic values went up to 4,400 ppm arsenic. So clearly they were getting closer to it. But using RC, you know, and back in the day, 20 odd years and plus ago, I guess you just can't see it that you're getting closer to it. But it was never followed up upon, and it's permitted. We've done all the permitting. We've placed our bonds with the BLM. This thing is ready to go. So it sits as our you know, I would say that the two projects in Alaska, Amanita and Golden Zone, will be number 1 and number 2. This would be number 3. Amanita Northeast would be number 4. So this one's ready to go. So it's just a matter of fitting it into the equation and making sure that you've got the funds necessary to actually do the work. So that's where we're at right now.
Absolutely.
But we love the project.
And talking of funds, I mean, how are you you've got a lot of activity obviously coming up. How are you paying for all this? Who are your shareholders? Who are your backers?
Well, we were really lucky last year in 2022, introduced Crescat Capital, a fund out of Denver. They joined us. But prior to Crescat coming on board was the legendary Eric Sprott. And when Eric came in, he you know, he liked what he saw, and really this is real, you know, vindication of what we have done and the quality of our projects by attracting Crescat Capital and Eric Sprott. They do a lot of due diligence. They do due diligence on the management team. They do due diligence on the projects. They are clearly comfortable making this investment. They're comfortable working in North America. So, I mean, we checked a lot of boxes when we brought these shareholders on. So that was a real check mark for the team and the projects, as having Eric and Crescat Capital on board.
Avidian also owns the High Tide Resources company, which has I believe an iron ore project in Labrador. As part of your sort of focusing in on Amanita, you're looking to now sort of list this private company and sort of split it off from Avidian. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. Thank you for bringing up High Tide Resources. 60% controlled by Avidian Gold. So the company, I'm president and the VPX for High Tide Resources. It's got the Labrador West Iron Project. That's currently the single asset. Although we are very, very close to announcing the acquisition of another project, but that's kind of we'll keep that secret for just a little bit longer. But I think everyone's going to be excited with where the direction we're going with that. But let's talk about Labrador West. Let's just stick with the business side. So we are at the stage now. We have done a technical report. We've done an audit. We are now looking to do an IPO in H1. Your listeners or viewers probably know that iron ore has gone bonkers through 2020 and into 21. It was the single commodity that outperformed gold last year. This is a project that I brought into the company in 2019 and put it into the private high tide. So yeah, we're looking at going public. We're going to do a capital raise in shortly, some hard dollars to allow for G&A type of expenses, and then some flow through dollars to allow to do more exploration. The project was Rio Tinto's #1 exploration project. It sits adjacent to their Carroll Lake mine operation, 23 million tons per year of concentrate and pellets that is produced. So we are the next project right up the belt, so to speak. It came to us in 2019. We signed a CA with Altius Minerals. Maybe that's a name that people are familiar with. My experience in iron ore, I looked at it very quickly and I knew right away it's the right project in the right camp at the right time. Iron was only $60-70 and it didn't, I looked at it and I said, this is a fantastic project, because what you need in iron ore, is good geology, which this project has got, but more importantly, it's access to infrastructure. You need to have power, you need to have rail, you need to have the ability, you need to have a supportive environment to work in. Labrador and Newfoundland is exactly that. It's got all the power and the rail that you could want. So truly a wonderful project, and we're taking it public in H1. So if you are a shareholder of Avidian Gold, there'll be a little cookie for you when we take this project, when we take High Tide public. We're trying to figure out the most tax-friendly way of rewarding Avidian Gold shareholders with some, with High Tide Resources as it goes public. So yeah, we're excited about that. It's got IOC Rio Tinto drilled 18 holes on it between 2011 2012. 2010 and 2012. The price of iron kind of went into the gutter for the next 5-6 years. They dropped the project over a claim renewal fee issue, but anyways, we picked it up, and here we are. We drilled 4 holes last year. We got excellent results. We put together a 43-101. So our plan is to go back this year and drill 8 to 12 more holes, and then with the idea of daylighting a brand new deposit with a NI 43-101 resource, and start to really put this project on the map, because nobody knows about this project. It's just been something that was tucked into the back pocket of a major, and this is the opportunity. We're going to daylight this project this year, so there's going to be a lot of news around this project.
And as you say, iron ore on quite a high this year.
Demand from China, steel making. China's made big moves over the last few years to improve the quality of the iron that they're bringing in. It comes out of the ground here at anywhere between 28 and 32% is the camp average. Then it's beneficiated into a concentrate or to a pellet to 65, 66, 67%. So if you look at your Fe62 fines, I think today $155, $160. It's hit up to $180. But all of the material that comes out of Quebec and Labrador is of 65, to about 68 in that range. It's roughly $10 per 1% premium as it goes higher and higher and higher. I've been hearing that some of the ore coming out of this camp is trading at $190 to $200 per ton. So fantastic, high quality product, clean product. It's in big demand globally. There's rail to a port. There's capacity in the rail. There's capacity in the port. There's hydroelectric power at 4.5 cents per kilowatt hour. It's up to us in the first year to put all the pieces together to come up with the resource, and then take it to a PEA level study, and then just start to build and see how all of this fits into the grand scheme of things. And no secret, when you're a junior, you're always looking for help, and looking to attract a potential partner who believes in the jurisdiction and the safety of doing business in Canada. So there you go. That's the commercial for that.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting project. And it sounds also like there's a lot to talk about there. And we should probably have you back in a separate interview to talk all about high tide resources once you've been able to go back there and put out that new resource. But Steve, thank you very much for joining us today and taking us on a whistle-stop tour through all of your exciting projects there. Good luck for the year ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank
Steve
you.
Roebuck.
Well, look forward to speaking to you again soon. There'll be lots to update. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks.